All right, everyone, welcome back to DSP versus the Internet, episode 83. Let's continue on and finish up the Ultra member submissions for the week. Here we go.
Hi gang, what's your favourite faction in 40k? Well, whatever they are, they're bad. As we all know, there are no good guys in 40k. Games Workshop say so all the time. Everyone's bad. Chaos is bad. The Imperium is bad. Space bugs are bad. Everyone is bad. So in this video, I'm going to go through them all and explain why your favourite faction are terrible people.
We were just saying this as I played Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. I was like, so really there's no heroes. Everyone's kind of a different antagonist going at each other. There's no one who's like actually correct or right in the situations. They're all just seeing it from their own perspective and kind of trying to take over and survive everybody else. So yeah, there's no good people in the game really. I mean, there are good people, but no good overall faction.
There are no goodies in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. None. That's the official line, and there are hundreds of books to prove it, full of mindless slaughter, pointless wars, and awful decisions. Every single faction in 40k is bad. But occasionally, online, some people try to question this. It's a dangerous universe after all. Maybe this faction's decisions are justifiable because of survival or heroism or something. My faction, yeah, they're fine. They're the true good guys of the setting. And those bad things they did, well, those were just hard decisions that just had to be made. And I get it. People want simplified stories with clear heroes and villains. But that's not how life works, and as a work of satire, that's not how 40k works either. 40k is a war game, and despite the many simplified action movies out there, wars are never as simple as a single righteous cause. Goodies versus baddies. Despite how much some people might fetishize them or the idea of being in them, wars are bad. And if you want a war game where every single faction can fight every single other faction forever, including fighting amongst themselves, then every single faction has to be bad too. So let's go through all of them and find out exactly how bad they are, starting with the most obvious one. The Imperium of Man is bad. I mean, this is the obvious one, isn't it? The Imperium are designed to be absolutely terrible. As Games Workshop themselves say, its numberless legions of soldiers and zealots bludgeon their way across the galaxy, delivering death to anyone and anything that doesn't adhere to their blinkered view of purity. Almost every man and woman toils in misery either on the battlefield, where survival is measured in hours, or in the countless manufactorums and hive slums that fuel the Imperial war machine. All of this in slavish servitude to the living corpse of a god emperor whose commandments are at best only half remembered, twisted by time and the fallibility of humanity.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about any of that. So the emperor is still alive, but not really. He's dead, but they're keeping him alive to do experiments and shit, probably with his DNA. That's why they have these different leaders, or supposedly like his clones or kids or whatever, right? And his commandments are only at best half remembered. So maybe at one point, humanity was good, but everyone just twisted everything into what they wanted it to be for their own corrupted purposes. And now no one actually remembers what the real stuff was back in the day. So they all just lie about it to get by. Wow. That's a pretty well-written plot. That's actually a pretty well-written plot. And I didn't know that. That's neat. I received a $4.20 tip from Lady Charisma. I want to give you a heads up. When you reach the submission to your videos, there's a video about a PS5 Pro versus same price PC where the intro and benchmark are the main points that I think you should see. The middle part's mostly speccing out the PC to match the Pro. You can skip that. Thank you. If we get to see that, thank you for giving me the heads up. I did see that is in the playlist, and that's interesting. Can you build a $700 PC that runs as good, if not better, than the upcoming PS5 Pro? I think that's something that a lot of people might be interested in the answer to that. Thank you for that, Lady Charisma. Okay.
The Imperium of Man stands as a cautionary tale of what could happen should the very worst of humanity's lust for power and extreme unyielding xenophobia set in. The Imperium is, if you've forgotten, a totalitarian, oppressive, backwards, conservative, religious fundamentalist dystopia, rife with division, intolerance, inequality, and outright slavery that cares almost nothing for any form of what we would call human rights. The planets that make it up are wildly different, from medieval feudal feudal societies, which are bad, to nightmare cyberpunk megacities, also bad. On one hand, as long as its constituent planets toe the line in terms of their ties to the Imperium, they can do whatever they want. But in practice, this means that the Imperium as a whole legitimizes any form of rule as long as it keeps the status quo. Hereditary monarchies and class systems, absolutely fine. Ruthless dictatorships, totally okay. Indentured servitude and literal slavery, yeah, no problem. Sexism,
No problem.
homophobia,
It's good.
racism, do what you want on your planet. The Imperium does not care. But if you try and revolt and improve things, well, the Imperium cares then, and you can expect to be bombed into oblivion for the crime of being disruptive. Of course.
All right, I think that's as far as I'm not gonna watch a 20-minute video. You guys know that, but that's the background on the Imperium that I actually wanted to know. When I was playing Space Marine 2, I was confused. I'm like, wait, these are the heroes? They certainly don't seem that way. They seem like they're using evil technology to do bad things, and then come to find out they're actually not. They're bad. Okay, 1 second. Wanted to see if I open my curtains in the middle, how it looks. Looks about the same, right? I think opening the curtains in the middle will work better than the side, because on the side, all the light was going onto the PC and stuff on the floor, and I was like, I probably don't want it going onto the PC on the floor. But if I open it in the middle, I get this kind of middle light. That's better. And actually, I think the background looks a little better that way, too. All right, I'll do that. If I need it fresh air, I'll just open it in the... There we go. Ted Cassie says there's stuff about the Space Marines. Let's find that. Looking for it. Definitely isn't yet, right? Where is it? I don't see any Space Marines. Where is this? I see no pictures of Space Marines. How did I miss it? Is it coming up right now? Maybe it's coming up right now.
Also, something we know is bad. The Imperium therefore believes that any form of intelligent life other than humanity needs to be completely wiped out just in case, regardless of if they're actually a threat, which can lead to strange definitions for wars of survival. Of course, the other main threat to humanity is chaos, which the Imperium solves by creating conditions so oppressive that underground cults promising a better life find it really easy to gain traction. A huge proportion of the chaos threat in 40k comes from formerly Imperial armies who were treated so horribly they went looking for something else. While the Imperium is under threat from those things, this survival rhetoric ignores the fact that a huge proportion of wars fought by humanity are wars of honor, also a concept that's bad. Imperial forces are likely to go to war because it impugns their honor not to, or because the actions of a foe can be construed as an insult to someone in the Imperium, or for a variety of religious reasons. Whole wasteful crusades have been fought to reclaim worlds of almost...
I still don't see the stuff about the Space Marines. I'm waiting. Where is it? Right here?
They replicate by abducting small children, cutting them open and filling them with gene seeds, brainwashing them, and then consigning them to an eternity of constant war. The populations...
Wow. So that's how you make a Space Marine, huh? Oh, that's interesting.
Who supply those children frequently have no choice in this. Depending on the chapter, they might see regular humans as little more than collateral damage or a source of handy slaves. Even the nicer ones are horrific mass murderers willing to inflict huge losses on their own side in the name of honor. The Astra Militarum is the ultimate uncaring military system. They're also bad. It conscripts soldiers by law into a never-ending tour of duty and then throws them into hopeless situations millions at a time, often because human life is considered cheaper to expend than material resources are. This is enabled by a literal cult of sacrifice. That's bad, everyone. All of which results in an average soldier's life expectancy being around 15 hours. On the other hand, its upper echelons are riddled by classism. Being from the right family will absolutely get you a safe position of command behind the lines, regardless of how many people die from your stupid decisions. And if...
All right. I mean, thank you for the submission. I think we watched enough of it, but we just learned about all this bad stuff. That, yeah, in 40k, everything's bad. Even the humans that are supposed to be like your first perspective, because you're a human yourself, is bad. Right? If a Cowboy fan is asking, any restrictions or things to be cautious about? Cannot be a video that's flagged for adults only. cannot be a video that's flagged for children only, because those are actually not allowed, and then the whole stream gets demonetized or shut down. I'm serious. And try to do a shorter video, because as you can see, there's no way I'm ever going to watch a 20-minute video. It's a clip show, and I'm trying to get through as many clips as I can. So the shorter, the better. Okay, on to the next video. Good submission there. I learned a lot. The Plucky Squire game overview trailer. Cool. This just came out. I think people were talking about me possibly looking at it.
Developed by All Possible Futures, The Plucky Squire is a lighthearted single-player action adventure where the limits of reality take on a whole new dimension. Set within the storybook land of Mojo, you play as Jot, the eponymous Plucky Squire and hero of the realm tasked with vanquishing the villainous Humgrum. Quest page by page across Mojo, battling baddies, solving puzzles, and engaging in mini-games. But when Humgrum casts Jot out of the book and onto the desk, things get real. Turn Humgrum's plan against him by jumping from world to world, utilizing tools from one to solve problems in the other. With a wide variety of gameplay styles and a charming cast of colorful characters, The Plucky Squire will take most players between 8 to 10 hours to complete. The game features 2 difficulty modes alongside a variety of difficulty assist options.
Huh. Seems neat.
The Plucky Squire is available September 17th, 2024 on PC.
I was going to say, it just came out. It literally just came out, and, you know, reviews seem decent. The game, people seem to like it. It's a shorter game, though. It's only like a 10-hour game, so it's a quick experience. But it seems fun. Reminds me of, like, Paper Mario stuff, almost, in a lot of ways. So, or maybe, like, Paper Mario fused with Zelda. Okay.
The Weather Channel is now responding to reports that one of their reporters...
Oh, so FYI, someone had submitted this in the submissions tier last week. We watched it, and then they put it into the Ultra tier. Well, we already watched it. You must not have watched the whole show from last week, so whoever this is, if you want to say, we'll watch it again. It's short.
Essentially faking it during his coverage of Hurricane Florence.
Here we go.
Probably seen the video on Facebook as that reporter struggles to keep his balance.
Okay, picking it up here.
Great.
In Wilmington, North Carolina, right at the Intracoastal, and we're in one of these bands.
So that's Mike Seidel in Wilmington, North Carolina. But as he braces and fights the wind Friday, check out the 2 guys who seem to walk right by him in the background there with no trouble at all. The video has been shared more than 1 million times on social media. So now a spokesperson for the Weather Channel is defending Seidel, saying it's important to note that the 2 individuals in the background are walking on concrete while Seidel tries to maintain his footing on wet grass.
That's hilarious.
The spokesperson...
Do you not understand that when you're on ground, like dirt, it's easier to keep your footing? It is. You just sink, your feet would sink right into the dirt. You're not even going to move. The fact that they tried to defend the guy is hilarious. Fucking moron. All right, this is the final Ultra submission for the week.
Have you ever eaten at a McDonald's and thought, wow, this place is so good?
No, that's it. The answer is no. On to the next video. I'm just kidding.
I'd like to eat here every hour for the next 24 hours.
No.
No? Just me? Well, maybe after seeing me do it in today's video, you'll want to as well. Just kidding, you're gonna see how much I fucking hate myself for even thinking this was a good idea.
So what is it with these YouTube fucking challenge videos? 3 weeks ago, 1.2 million views. Everyone on Earth knows it's a bad idea to eat McDonald's every hour for 24 hours. Everyone knows it's a bad idea to eat only the Costco hot dog meal for a week. Why does everyone even watch this video? No, honest answer. Honest question. You know it's dumb. You know it's pointless. You know he's going to hurt himself. You know nothing will be learned because this guy does it in every fucking video. I ate nothing but Buc-ee's for 1 week. I did this for 1 week. I did it. Why are we watching this? You know what I'm saying? You know how stupid this is? Man, I wonder what would happen if every 2 hours I took a 2x4 and I smashed my testicles as hard as I could for 24 hours. This is content for the sake of making pointless content that you know people are so dumb they're going to watch it anyway and you're going to make money. On a 1 million view video, the guy probably made several $1,000s. Like he probably made like $3,000 to $5,000 on it, you know? That's stupid.
As I drive to a 24-hour McDonald's, let's talk about the 3 rules for today's challenge. First, I have to get a food item every hour of this 24-hour challenge. I can't just get a drink and call it a day. That's not fair. Second, I can't have the same food item in consecutive hours. So if I get a hash brown 1 hour, can't have it the next hour. And third, if I skip an hour of eating, even by a minute, the challenge is over and it's a failure. Which honestly wouldn't be a bad thing because this is gonna fucking suck. Please do not try this at home. I am a professional dumbass. And just to show how professional—
No, you're a professional money grubber for making this kind of fucking stupid video. Like, it's dumb. It shouldn't exist. Why? I really don't get it. I'm going to do something that's incredibly unhealthy, risky, and everyone knows is bad. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you it's bad. And you're going to get to see me suffer. No, I don't want to see— I really don't want to see it. I don't even want to watch the video because I feel like this is just so fucking stupid. You're giving attention to someone who doesn't deserve a view because he's doing a fucking stupid challenge video. It's trash content. I'm actually, like, philosophically, I'm against this kind of content on YouTube. This is what is ruining the fucking site. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what's ruining YouTube as a whole. This crap, this filth, this duty content for clickbait views. It's fucking pathetic.
I've gotten a Big Mac today. I don't think I've gotten a Big Mac at all. So that's what I decided to get, except there was one huge problem here.
Thank you for stopping. At this time, we're only accepting cash.
And I don't carry cash because I'm a stupid millennial that wants to raise my interest rates and lower my credit score.
I will be back then. I'm gonna go get cash.
So I only had 10 minutes to somehow find cash, otherwise the challenge was over. Actually, maybe this was a good thing. I went to the BP that was across the street from the Sheets, that was across the street from the McDonald's, if you remember, and got some money out of the ATM before heading back to McDonald's at 3:55 a.m. and being able to order on time. Hooray, thank goodness I can continue to suffer for the next 9 hours. I think I'm just grumpy at everything right now. I got my coveted Big Mac meal with a small high C, which also is one of the greatest drinks of all time. And I got back to talking to the McDonald's cashier I had chatted with previously.
679. What's happening?
Still at it, man?
I'm trying.
His name was Jay, and he was super hospitable and kind.
Thank you.
I need the secrets, man. I need the secrets, man.
What secrets do you want?
What you mean? To the YouTube. Eventually, I'm, branch out and start doing some shit like that.
Here we go. See, here we go. So now a guy who's working an honest job, I should just quit this and I should just do stunt videos like you on YouTube, right? Like, that's the smart idea to do, right? No. Don't be like this guy. He's a jackass. Do legit work in your life. Don't be like the stunt man here who he's not even making meaningful content at all. He's making a dumb stunt challenge video that people give him millions of views and he makes thousands of dollars on. He's hurting himself. He's hurting the site itself. Don't make garbage. If you have a talent, if you're a musician, if you're a rapper, if maybe you're a guru on a topic, you like cars, you're good at video games, you're a comedian, you know what I'm saying? Then you become a YouTuber. Don't do what this fucking jackass does. Don't make this garbage content that ruins the fucking site and the business, okay? Okay, that's it. I'm not watching any more of this. I'm sorry. It's against my belief system of what YouTube should be. As someone who's done YouTube for 16 years and busted his ass to actually make meaningful content, to see a fucking moron like this making million-view videos that are harmful to the entire site, yeah, I'm against it, and he can go fuck himself. Okay. Let's continue. Let's watch. This is now the randomized playlist. Let's actually make sure it's randomized, okay? Here we go. And let's see what's in store this week with the 24 videos in this playlist. Let's watch a couple of these, of the submissions to your videos, okay? Here we go.
Hey guys, what's happening? Niat here with Film Comics Explained, and as requested, today we'll be taking a look at the hunger virus featured throughout Marvel Comics. I've had numerous requests.
I do have kind of a spoiler here. A year or two ago, I watched a video summary about all of the Marvel Zombies comics because I was curious because I never read any of them before. So I kind of already know this stuff. So we'll see how it's only a 7-minute video. We'll see how in-depth he gets, but I kind of already know all of this lore. So
to cover this over the past year, and the reason it's taken me so long to make this is that I needed to go through all the comics in which the virus was featured to understand where it came from, and the way that it changed those that were infected by it. To be honest, the entire series, one-shots and crossovers do create a lot of inconsistencies, but for the sake of simplicity and clarity, I'm going to run through some of the main events in the comics that help us understand the entire sequence of events towards the end of this video.
okay.
First seen in Ultimate Fantastic Four, issue number 21, the hunger virus is one of the most virulent pathogens present within the Marvel multiverse. While the precise origin of the infection is unknown, what we do know is that a temporal paradox is responsible for its existence in multiple universes, which I'll explain in more detail later on. The virus was transmitted via a bite from an infected individual, and once within the bloodstream of its host, it would turn its victims into zombies that would develop a hunger that could only be satiated by the ingestion of living flesh.
Right.
I should also point out
The weird part about it, though, is that they're all intelligent. Like, they don't become brainless and stupid. They just crave flesh so much they can't stop eating, but they all are still smart. Like, they all still have, like, their intelligence and their memories and everything, and they can talk, see? It's very different from the zombies that you would think that a zombie is in modern pop culture.
Out that unlike other zombies in popular culture, those that were infected retained their intelligence, personality.
Well, I guess I should have just waited a second, huh?
They would also keep most of their superhuman abilities, with the exception of healing factors and regenerative abilities, which would have all been spent in their attempts to fight the virus. While these zombies kept their former intelligence and personalities, they were all robbed of any semblance of self-control, and the more hungry they were, the less rational they would become. At the same time, once they'd feasted on the flesh of non-infected victims, their personalities would re-emerge, and the more humane and moral individuals would often feel a significant amount of guilt moments after the hunger had temporarily subsided. The virus had a 100% infection rate, with everyone that was bitten by an infected individual soon transforming into a walking, talking, undead being. While characters like Spider-Man, Captain America, and Wolverine all had an accelerated healing factor that staved off the virus for as long as it could, they would all inevitably succumb to its effects. Even gods like Thor and powerhouses like the Hulk would all be overwhelmed by the hunger virus. What I found most surprising when doing this research was that the contagion and the hunger it aroused seemed to function in a similar manner as addictive drugs, and while the changes to the body were physiological, the hunger was entirely mental, with infected hosts not needing the sustenance provided from eating living flesh.
Right.
This addiction is exemplified by the numerous severed zombie heads still searching for food despite not having stomachs to process it, implying that, as some people can be addicted to drugs and alcohol, those infected with the hunger virus were addicted to the consumption of human flesh. Furthermore, like any
And I mean, even even pop culture zombies are the same, they're already dead. They're not going to continue to regenerate or grow or anything by eating. The sustenance does them no good. It's just they're addicted to doing it. They can't stop themselves from this ravenous hunger, right?
addiction, the hunger could be cured if a victim was isolated from a food supply for an extended period of time, thereby enabling their cravings to disappear and allowing the infected to then perform a functioning role within society. Having said that, the physiological effects of them having necrotized flesh and near immortality were irreversible. The hunger virus was also sentient, with its will devoted towards driving those infected with it to consume the flesh of the living. Because it was aware that it would ultimately exhaust its food supply within any given universe, the disease specifically aimed to infect superhuman beings, as they were the most likely to either develop or discover a means of breaching the dimensional barrier, which in turn would spread the infection to other realities. In the Ultimate Fantastic Four crossover comics, Reed Richards of the Ultimate Universe receives contact from an older version of himself from an alternate dimension. After crossing over with the use of an interdimensional device the genius had built, Reed soon discovered that he'd been tricked and had arrived at an alternate Earth where all the superheroes had turned into zombies and had desired to use the Ultimate Marvel Universe as a food source. After failing to capture him, the zombified Fantastic Four of this reality cross over to Earth 1610 through a dimensional portal, but are soon captured. With the help of Magneto, Reed escapes the zombie universe and prevents more zombies from entering the Ultimate Universe. Through the means of an eternal time loop, Uatu the Watcher of Earth Z sends a zombified sentry from this reality to infect Earth 2149 with the plague, and while his intentions aren't clear at the start, his actions make more sense towards the end. When the zombified sentry arrived, the Avengers were sent in to investigate, but were quickly infected and spread the virus to the other heroes. In less than 24 hours, all of the Earth had been infected, in part due to a zombified Quicksilver who traversed the world within minutes, biting humans, heroes, and villains alike, who in turn went on a feeding rampage. The Silver Surfer then appeared and announced the coming of Galactus, but even he too was attacked and killed, enabling the infected heroes to absorb his cosmic powers. Sure enough, Galactus appeared to devour the world just as the Silver Surfer had said he would, but the zombies constructed a machine using vibranium from Wakanda to unite their newfound cosmic powers and take down Galactus, who they then also ate. They were then able to use the immense powers of Galactus to travel to other worlds and eat other life forms. Soon after this, we discovered that Tony Stark had created life-altering nanobots designed to fight cancer. And viewing the hunger virus as an abnormal infection on the human body, the nanobots began decomposing infected individuals. While Ant-Man had hoped to use the Watcher's multiversal technology to enter another universe by using the brains of the most intelligent people on Earth who are now zombies, as well as the power of the Sentry, the remaining heroes journeyed to his location and were able to use Stark's nanobots to defeat him and the remaining infected. But since the Sentry was in a contained tube, he'd remained unaffected by the nanobots. Uatu the Watcher then appeared, and having observed the entire run of events, he came up with what he believed to be a perfect solution, which was to send the Sentry to Earth 2149 of the past, preventing him from doing any further damage in the present. By sending the Sentry back into the past, Uatu was able to contain the zombie apocalypse to those two universes. This was a closed time loop I spoke of earlier, and as such, there is no patient zero or actual start of the zombie plague, and the entire series is a mind-bending temporal paradox with no beginning or end.
That's stupid because, like, let's say, for example, you're watching The Walking Dead, right? And at the very last episode of The Walking Dead, to explain how the zombie virus started, there's a zombie, Rick, who goes back in time and bites the first person and starts the infection back in season 1 of The Walking Dead. That's literally Marvel Zombies. Like, it's completely unsatisfying. Like, the story until the end is satisfying, and then the explanation at the end is not an explanation. It's a time loop paradox that cannot happen. So the entire story is bunk, and you've wasted all of your time spending money and reading and all of this stuff. It's just a waste of time. Why they wrote it like that, I have no clue, and I don't know if they'll ever fix it. But imagine if for years you kept reading the Marvel Zombies comics, because there was many waves of it and everything. And imagine you're going to get your answer, and the answer is, oh, time loop. Then there's no explanation. That's terrible, right?
I know some of you may be scratching your heads, but this is no different to the time paradox in The Terminator, where John Connor sends Kyle Reese back into the past to save his mother from Skynet. And in trying to kill Connor before his birth, Skynet inadvertently incites the conception of its greatest foe. I've left
I mean, yes and no, because at the same time, I get that. But at the same time, there's an original timeline in Terminator that then is altered by the time loop. You see? Like, the original timeline stands alone, and then it was altered by the time travel of the Terminator going back in time over and over. In Marvel Zombies, there's no original timeline. The original timeline is the altered timeline, and it alters itself. That doesn't make sense.
A lot of the other events and tie-in comics out of this explanation for two reasons. The first being that the video would be way too long if I didn't. And second, because many of the crossovers don't add to the main story, and instead tend to convolute and even contradict the main story arc. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this explanation. Well, that's all for today.
Alright. So yeah, so Marvel Zombies, it's fun, but man, don't expect it to make sense or be rational at all, because they never wrote a real explanation that had it make sense. The end is incredibly unsatisfying. Okay, good stuff. And now, for the next hour, we'll be doing all of the submissions tier videos, right? All submissions tier submissions, guys. So thank you so very much for watching DSP versus the Internet. I hope you're enjoying it. I'll be back with the next part.